Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, I see it.
Okay.
Tav, Ayin, Aleph, which one?
Aleph.
At the beginning?
Yep.
Also, the Ochel pot?
Yep.
All right.
Okay. We're going to talk about the halachas of eating before one is allowed to eating Erev Pesach, different type of stuff. Asalechol pas mishas asirs, that it's forbidden to eat bread from the 10th hour. So the way we do it is we take sunrise to sundown is, during this time of the year, it's around 12 hours anyway, right? Sometimes it's 14 hours in the summer, and sometimes it's 10 hours in the winter. But now it's right now it's stop it. Sorry. Everyone can see my screen now. Okay. So nowadays it's pretty much, with the equinox, there's 12 hours and 12 hours. So pretty much sundown is what time? Because of daylight savings, sundown is around 7:30. So 2 hours before sunrise is around 7. So still around. So the 10th hour is going to roughly be 5 o'clock. Let's leave it at 5 o'clock. I don't know the exact time. This year, as I said, around 5 o'clock, you can no longer eat bread. After 5 o'clock on Erev Pesach, you cannot eat bread in order to come to Pesach with a with a good taste and with the appetite to eat the matzah. Riley, did we do this? Oh my, I'm getting confused.
No, we didn't.
Okay, fine. So, but you don't have to starve. You're allowed to eat some vegetables, but don't fill yourself up to the point where you're no longer have an appetite, even from the bread, even from the vegetables. So overall, bread is something which fills, and that's why we have a special bracha on bread, and that's why we have a special after bracha on bread. So you're not allowed to eat bread. However, you could eat other stuff, but even other stuff you should eat in the right amount and eat in small amounts so you don't fill yourself up. Says the Ramavim, who isnis shafilu oichel mat mazikli b'achilasa yakolasar. If you're an isnis, if you're someone who is who's very finicky, and that's if you look before, if you look before in the previous chapter, that's how we finished off. And the Mishnah Berurah is going to explain what's the difference between this finicky person and this finicky person. Why is it brought down twice? But a finicky person should be careful not to eat anything, because then he's not going to have any appetite. He won't be able to fulfill the mitzvah of matzah on the night of Pesach. Now, what about wine? So it comes back to the mechaber. The yain and wine, you can't drink a little bit. You should not drink any wine after the 5th hour also, which on the side, because it fills you up. If you went to brachas, if you went to daf yomi and brachas, why is it, the Gemara asks, that wine has its own special bracha? One of the reasons are, the several reasons. One reason is because it fills your stomach, therefore it has a special bracha. So therefore you should not drink any wine, because that will cause problems that night, and you're not going to be able to drink. Because you're full, you're not going to be able to eat the matzah and be fulfilled the mitzvah of matzah and the fulfillment of arba kaisis. However, if you want to drink a lot of wine, so don't drink a little bit. That's going to fill you up. But once you're drinking, make sure you drink a lot, because as you know, there's munchies. You're hungry. You're going to want to eat more. And with that, we are going to go to the Mishnah Berurah. Okay, Eric, you see the Aleph? We're on Aleph in the Mishnah.
You betcha.
All right, Aleph. Le'echol pas. Hainu afilu matzah shira v'dekamei b'sif beis. Now, this is a problem, because he's really coming to take care of a problem, which we're going to discuss later on, is that how in the world are you allowed to eat bread on Erev Pesach? We didn't learn this here, but previously in the Shulchan Aruch, it's a clear halacha after the 4th hour or after the 5th hour, one is forbidden to have any chametz, right? You're not allowed to eat chametz after 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. So how could it be that what bread? The bread is forbidden. You can't have any bread Erev Pesach, especially 2 hours before. Definitely 2 hours before the start of Pesach. So therefore, he's coming to explain. No, we're talking about we're talking about matzah. But there's another problem. You're not allowed to have matzah altogether, which we'll also talk about. So we fall upon the one thing, matzah shira, rich man's matzah, which means matzah which is kneaded not with water, rather it's kneaded with oil, eggs, or perhaps fruit juice. And that we'll discuss in Siman Beis. We'll come to that. The point is, the bread we're talking about is a rich, it's called matzah shira, which is bread mixed with eggs or wine or fruit juice. Beis Mishas Ashiris from the 10th hour. So how do you know what the 10th hour is? So you take midday, because midday is the exact time between sunrise and sunset. And then what you do is you add another 4 hours. Midday is the 6th hour. So therefore, after the 6th hour is going to be another 4 hours. 6 plus 4 gives you the 10th hour, so 4 hours after midday. And once you start eating, if you started eating after this 10th hour, you have to stop eating because you started in a forbidden manner. Gimel, ma'at pears, however, you're allowed to eat a few pears. Huadin, bas v'dagim, beitzim, you could have meat, you could have fish, you could have eggs. But anything with the 5 grains is forbidden. This is a common thing which you serve most Jewish households. The Seder is going to run very late. By the time you eat the main Su'udah of the Seder, you're talking about 11, 12 o'clock at night. Therefore, you run into most Jewish households when it comes to Erev Pesach, they'll be serving maybe a potato kugel, maybe they'll be served some fish, perhaps some chicken as well. And also, you can also have salad. And it's recommended to eat something. You don't want to come starving at the Pesach and you have your stomach growling, your stomach complaining the entire Haggadah. You're not going to be able to concentrate. Dalid, ayurakais, ben chayim v'shol. You could have vegetables, whether it's cooked or whether it's fresh. Now, hey, isnis shafil oichama. The mechaber, rather the Ramaro, the muisnis shafil oichamat mazik lebachilasai hakol aser. That if you're finicky and a little bit of food will cause problems and you're not going to want to eat anything that night, don't eat anything because you still have a mitzvah of matzah, marar, and dal kaisais to fulfill that night. Says the Mishnah Berurah, and hey, you if you go back over here, right over here at the end of the previous chapter, it says isnis mitanis ber pesach kedesh yochel matzah lite avun. That someone who's finicky should fast Erev Pesach in order to eat a matzah with an appetite. So we already said this. Why is it that the Ramah is repeating himself? That's the Mishnah Berurah's question. Now, the Hassam, we're talking about some in the first case, in the previous chapter, it's a much higher level of finickiness. It's someone who eats a little bit, even eats a light breakfast, he will not be able to eat anything that night. Therefore, he should fast the entire day, not eat anything in order to eat something, eat some matzah the night of Pesach in order to fulfill the mitzvah of matzah and marar. Now, here in our chapter, we're talking about an istinus. We're talking about a finicky person that if he eats from the 3rd hour and onwards, the 3rd hour is 3 hours into the day. So we're talking about someone who, someone that can eat breakfast and also can eat supper, then it's not a problem. Let him eat breakfast, and then the rest of the day, don't eat so much. That's what we're talking about over here. So someone who eats a heavy lunch can't really eat a supper. Make sure he doesn't eat a heavy lunch. He should eat as minimal as possible. Vav, we said wine. Wine you should also not eat because wine fills you up. We should in the side, and we reference the Gemara in Brachas that speaks this out. Now, Mistaber says in Mishpru and Vav, the pachais mekais ayakapanim miroiv kais loisad vishari. The less than a cup of wine is not a problem. So you could taste the wine. You could taste some of the wine to make sure it's not spoiled, for example, for the night of Pesach, because you will have 4 kaises, you have 4 cups to drink. Just don't drink too much. Yain harbet. So therefore, you should have, now when it says kais, I don't know exactly what it's referring to. It might be referring to a revius. So therefore, you could have less than a revius. You could have less than around 3 ounces of wine. So you could taste the wine to make sure that it's still, it didn't go, let's say, it didn't go sour, it didn't go bad. Hold on, it says here, yeah, steak, 2 reviuses. Okay, that's what he says, 2 reviuses, so around 6 ounces. So he clearly writes there, 2 reviuses. So therefore, you could drink up to 2 reviuses of wine, but don't drink more. Now, once you start drinking, on that we said, yain harbe, the steak, no, my bad, sorry. I'm just trying to see what is this shear of a kais. Because in Zion it writes, yain harbe, so that's called a law. That's already more than 2 cups. 2 cups of revius. I'm assuming we'll go back here when you say a cup, it's a revius. So you should have less than 3 ounces of wine, and you shouldn't. But once you start drinking, you should drink a lot. What's a lot? That's, I guess, at least 6 ounces of wine, because wine is something that starts, the stomachs. Once you drink a lot of wine, it starts the appetite, and you have a greater appetite. Cheskayer kamakam, we said that it causes you to want more. Now, don't drink so much wine to the point where your stomach's full. You're not going to get drunk. You're not going to drink anything then that night. Therefore, even though it clearly says you could have a lot of wine, don't have too much wine, because it could cause you to become drunk, and then you will not be able to fulfill the mitzvah of that night. Now, this is not going to apply this year. We said an isness should not eat anything Erev Pesach, or as little as possible. If Erev Pesach ends up being Shabbos, then this doesn't apply, and he for sure should eat something in order to be Mekayim, or to fulfill the mitzvah of Shabbos. Okay, we're going to go on to at least start Beis. Mekayim sha'ashiris mutar le'echol matzah ashira. Now, we saw before the 4th hour is permitted to go eat matzah ashira. So this brings us to a different issue, that you're not allowed to eat matzah the entire day. That's true. I think we're going to come back to that later on. The Mishnah Berurah discuss why you're not allowed to eat matzah the entire day. However, now, so you can't eat matzah the entire day. True. You can't eat any matzah. You can't eat any. Now, when I say matzah, it's regular matzah. Matzah made out of bread, made out of water and flour. Regular matzah that we eat the night of Pesach cannot be eaten the entire day. We'll come to discuss that. After the 10th hour, roughly 5 o'clock, you can't eat any grain. Anything from the 5 grains cannot be eaten. So, however, you could eat before the 5th hour and earlier, meaning up until the 10th hour, up until 5 o'clock. You're allowed to eat matzah shira. Matzah shira again is matzah, which is mixed with eggs, perhaps wine, or any other fruit juice. So it's kind of shira smutar le'echol matzah ashira. Now,
so why does it matter?
What? Why are you allowed to eat it?
Well, I don't understand. I understand one of the reasons for the distinction halakhically between matzah shira and regular matzah. If you use certain other ingredients other than water, it can hasten the leavening process and mess up the cycle. But I'm wondering if there are other reasons why matzah shira gets such a bad rap.
Yeah. So the reason why matzah shira does get such a bad rap, there's 2 reasons. It speaks about this previously in the Mishnah Berurah. I'm just trying to find where that would be. Tough Samach Beis. Give me a minute. So the Torah calls it lechem oini, the bread of my affliction, right? That's what we call matzah, right, Eric? So
sure.
One of the things that make it lechem ani, the poor man's bread, is that it is an affliction or bread, poor man's bread, that's only in order to fulfill the mitzvah of, even without the issues of hastening the dough to rise. But in order to fulfill the mitzvah, it has to be water and flour, because that is called lechem ani. The Torah called it the bread of my affliction, and therefore it can't be anything else. Now, if you look at the screen, this is, I just jumped back a few bit. Taf Samach Beis, which is 462. Din mei machmitzin. So there's a whole chapter on the halachas concerning if you could do mei peiros, and it clearly writes here that, so according to the Machaber, you are permitted to eat. According to the Machaber, there's no problem of hastening the process, and it's totally permitted as long as it's 100% pure fruit juice. It is permitted to be eaten. However, if you look at the end of it, ein yetziba idei chavasai, you have not fulfilled your obligation on the night of the Seder. If meishu matzah ashira v'kar ksiv lechem aini, that's called a more of a affluent matzah, because it's being mixed with fruit juice. And the Torah says lechem aini. Lechem aini is specifically a poor man's bread, which means only water. Now, so according to the Machaber, there's nothing to talk about. It's fully permitted to eat matzah mixed with fruit juice. But just to point out, the Ramah does right. If you look over here in Dalid, may beitzim v'shar mashkim kulam havachal me peris. Okay. Now Haga bebinis elu ein noagin lalosh me peris afilu liktoif hamatzos ein noagin rak la'achar yasan b'yechamim ein l'shanes im loy b'shasatcha. So you see from here that that's not the minhag. Our minhag is not to go ahead, and we do not go ahead and mix in fruit juice, and we don't eat fruit juice on Pesach. So according to this, unless someone, this includes also egg matzah, we don't do egg matzah either, unless, of course, someone who has, unfortunately, cannot eat so well, he has bad teeth, then it might be permitted. But definitely it won't be Mekayim the mitzvah of this Seder. So to answer your question, Eric, it's called lechem eini, and therefore it's forbidden. At least for the Seder. Now, that's very important what you just pointed out, that for the Seder it's forbidden. And we'll see that's the reason why it's permitted to have matzah shira during the day. And we'll see in a minute, and that's what the Ramah is about to say. Haga. So we're back in Taf Ayin Aleph, in Beis, on top. Haga. Avol matzah shesim ba belayla asum lechol kol arba asa. That matzah, which you could fulfill your obligation the night of the 14th, you're not allowed to have, meaning the matzah, which you actually sit down by the Seder, and you could fulfill your obligation with, you're not allowed to eat the matzah the entire day. Okay, now let's see the Mishnah Berurah just on this, and after this we're going to finish it. At least over here, V'koidem sha'as shiris, says the Mishnah Berurah on bottom and test. Therefore, so he's just pointing out is that you're not supposed to have, you could have, so remember, before we said you're not allowed to have any bread. So what bread? We're not allowed to have bread anyway. So we meant to say is before the 10th hour, you're allowed to have matzah shira, you're allowed to have matzah, which is mixed in with fruit juice. However, after the 10th hour, you're not allowed to have anything made out of the chamesh minim, you're not allowed to have anything made out of grain. And the Mishnah Berurah is just pointing out that if you know for a fact that you're going to start a su'udah, let's say in the 9th hour, or in the 8th hour, and it's going to go into the 10th hour, and you're eating matzah ashira, that's forbidden, because you're not allowed to have any bread after, you're not allowed to have any grain after the 10th hour. Yud, matzah ashira. So what is matzah ashira? Hainush nilush b'mei peiros, that you mix in fruit juice. Since you don't fulfill your obligation with this on the night of the 14th, you can't fulfill your mitzvah. You can't fulfill your obligation of the matzahs. Which we just mentioned. Again, because if there's even a taste of fruit, it's no good. The whole problem of eating Erev Pesach matzah, at least before the 10th hour, after the 10th hour, after the 5 o'clock, we said it's anyway a problem. You can't have any grain. Before the 10th hour, so anything which you could fulfill your obligation the night of the 14th, you're not supposed to have Erev Pesach at all. To have a gamke matzah shira, fine. And we're going to see, it's going to come out, let's do the next Mishnah Berurah. Asur melachol, the Rabbanan Kadeshi heker lachila spe'erev. So according, at least to this Mishnah Berurah, what's the reason you can't eat matzah the entire day of the 14th? The answer is that there should be, at least this first answer is that you have to have a clear-cut, recognizable difference between the eating of the 14th and every other eating. Like you can always, how do you know the night of the 14th? The reason why you're eating the matzah is because you want to be mekayim the mitzvah, because you didn't eat it all day. If you eat it all day and then you eat it in the night, no one's going to know the difference. And during the day, you're eating it for rishus, you're eating because you want to eat it. The night you're also eating because you want to eat it. We want to make it clear and recognizable that you're eating it to mekayim the mitzvah, the araisa of eating matzah. That's brought down by the Rambam. The Mishnah Berurah Yud Beis, Kol Yom Yudalid, Hanu Amud Hashachar. That's from dawnbreak, from the very beginning. Some say you shouldn't eat matzah from Rosh Chodesh. Because the matzah nefucha kafula ashmach chametz. Now this is a different type of matzah. If it's folded on the side, or there's other issues with it, we're afraid there's chametz in there, and you shouldn't eat that on Pesach. So maybe
there's a lot of issues with that.
Yeah, a lot of issues with that. But maybe if I can't eat it on Pesach, I could eat it Erev Pesach. Why not? Because me'ikar adin, it's called matzah. And you really me'ikar adin, it says, I guess you could be mekayim, you fulfill your obligation of the night of the Seder eating it. However, because it's only the Rabbanan, you're not allowed to do it. But during the day, you shouldn't have it because it's the same taste. And also the hecker there, it's still not so recognizable. Then you'll have the problem of recognizing it. So I'm going to stop my screen share. There's this one thing I want to do. Okay. There's one thing. I want to try if I can make a chart here.
Okay. Everybody, be sure to tell your friends about this class.
Yeah,
encourage them to attend.
So wait, so I just want to do something here. Just to make a quick draw so everyone sees this board. If you can see the board. So we have, that's also straight.
Rick, you're assuming to have friends.
Yeah, huh? Not everyone has friends, right? So if this is the 14th, this is the 13th, right? Okay, so if this is the 10th hour, which is about, right, 5 p.m., right? At this point, no grain allowed, right? Is that it? No grain allowed. Okay, a little messed up. Now, the time before that, however, from this all day, then at that point is no matzah at all, right? Now,
You mean on the 14th?
this is the 13th. This is all the 13th. Sorry, this is so
The 14th.
the 14th. You're right. Sorry, Erev Pesach. How do I erase that? Let's see. Oh, there you go. Okay. And then, but some do hold that as early as matzah, as early as Rosh Chodesh, and some even say as early as Purim. Right? That's pretty much the chart. So we have no grain at all after the 10th hour, no matzah the entire day, and however, no matzah the entire day. And however, some say that even as early as Rosh Chodesh or Purim, you should not have any matzah. That's for now. That's pretty much what we spoke about today. And with that, we shall end it. All right.
Thank you.
Now, see you tomorrow.
Same.